This episode of PDX Spotlight is brought to you in association with Portland Radio Project.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to PDX Spotlight. I'm your host, Luke Neill, and today we are coming to you from the Nest, a.k.a. Falcon Heart's Jam Hut. Thank you guys for being on this episode.
No problem. It's wonderful being here.
And thanks for hosting us. This is such a rad spot.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming out.
Well, we got a really killer performance from you all at Mississippi Studio, and you just put on such a good show, and you're so energetic, and that's one of the first things that drew me to the band. So tell us how this magical thing formed.
Well, Aaron and I have been playing music for the past, it's coming up on 10 years now, actually. Our last project, Marca Luna, was together for nearly 6 years. And as soon as that kind of came to an end, we had already had a little bit of a side project, and we had just named it Falcon Heart. And once Marca Luna ended and Falcon Heart became kind of our main dish, right from the get-go, we knew that we wanted Rob on bass and Gene Masteller, who couldn't be here with us tonight, on violin. And that luckily came together really easily and quickly as far as getting them on board and just building the material, writing the album, finishing all that up, and getting it out to blast the awesome summer that we've had so far.
I want to talk about your creation process because, Aaron, I think what you do in the band is a really cool, I don't know, like a creation maker, and then you let the rest of the band do their thing. So explain to our viewers how you come about your music, and like the song construction is really interesting to me as well.
Yeah, well, the song, I guess I just flesh it out by myself, and then I have demoing gear, so I'm able to overdub myself as many times as I want, and I just kind of go through and record guitars, record vocals, record drums, then bass, and then kind of mix it as well as I can, and then show it to everybody, and then like we say, we put it through the Falcon filter, and that's when it gets all the character that sounds like we sound, because Rob is a much better bass player than I am. I try, but.
And you mentioned Gene earlier. Let's give a shout out to the members of the band who couldn't be here.
Gene Masteller on electric violin, and also Jody Redifer playing drums.
So the Catch the Wind album, the LP, came out this summer. When did the process for that begin? Has it been in the works for a long time, some of those songs?
Yeah, I think we spent a whole year in pre-production setting up for it. Just from the very start of the band, we just started demoing, and then I think we had the whole album demoed, and then recorded the whole thing in 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of it was Aaron and I moving from because kind of the formula that we had before when Falcon Heart first started was Aaron was actually on drums, and I was playing guitar and singing, and so we were doing a lot of older material that we had been doing for a while, and we decided to move forward with writing some new songs. One of our songs on the album, All That You Do, was really the first true Falcon Heart song, and Aaron and I wrote it really together, splitting, lyrical, melodic, and, just composition duties on all of it. And after that came together, that was just kind of releasing the floodgates, and we each were bringing songs to the table until we had that album, and we're able to demo it out fully, which really helped with the recording process.
Well, my dreams without you. It makes me feel blue. Although time makes us older, our love will last forever. And I can't breathe without you, babe. I'll bury my soul with soul of my lover. Because I can't be without you, babe. And I can't breathe without you, babe. And I can't live without you, babe. And I can't be without you, babe.
Let's talk about the folks behind the scenes, producer, engineer, also given credit on the record.
Yeah, Matt Jefferson had a huge hand in everything. He was helping us with the just producing the whole thing. He had a lot of ideas, and we recorded it at his home studio.
The way that he was able to work with us, listen to all of our ideas, and us hovering over him constantly, being involved every step of the way in the production, especially, after us doing it ourselves and Aaron recording all of the, demoing out all of the drums and all of his guitar parts and vocal parts and stuff. So Aaron, I think, should have some producing credits on that as well. But if it wasn't for Matt Jefferson with his knowledge, I don't think that the record would be able to be what it is.
We live in such a unique time because I think Catch the Wind could have come out 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. It's really timeless sounding. And we live in a great time period where I think more people have a greater reach. They're listening to broader genres of music. And you guys bring it together in a real central place that I think is accessible to audience members. So what is it like now sharing that on stage since you have such a great record to take out and play?
Well, I think every song should sound good in any format, like whether you're playing it by yourself at an open mic or with full production behind you. And I think the lineup we have now is like how I always heard it in my head, and how I think we're doing a pretty good job of like playing the album as it sounds live.
Yeah, I would say so for sure. Are there any songs that stand out to you as favorites that you like to play live?
Forever for me, because that's the album opener, and I think that's probably the biggest we've ever sounded. It just kind of hits and sets the tone for the whole thing. And also a credit to Tucker Jackson, because he played pedal steel on the album, and it was just the icing on the cake.
So good.
The icing on the cake. Yes.
Cake.
So I want to talk about the inspiration for some of the songs. A fan favorite is Battery Russell. Can you tell us what inspired that track?
Yeah, I went to Fort Stevens, which is where Battery Russell is. It's off the Oregon coast near Astoria. And just kind of spent time exploring the fort, and it just looks like it has a lot of history. And I went and researched it and found out some more, and it inspired the whole song. It's just about war and not wanting to die and not wanting to kill.
Are you a lyric man or a music man when it comes to writing your songs? What comes to you first?
It's always different. Usually just a riff. Like sometimes the guitar riff inspires the melody, but sometimes the lyrics just come at you and you have to create a riff to handle the intake.
I haven't asked you this yet, but is there a central theme or story with Catch the Wind that you had in mind, or did something kind of come to fruition as you were building the record?
We didn't set out to make a concept record or really have a theme. What we really wanted to share our vision of what we felt like this band could be. Aaron was saying something about, he thinks a song should sound good in any format if you're playing an open mic or if you have your full band. I agree with that, and I think that's how we work together really well, is being able to start with that solid base and then being able to fully realize that. And so once the album was together, I think some common themes are like with the storytelling. So there's a lot of this kind of like happy, tragic, sad thing happening. So it's about growth and being able to, finding ourselves within some of these stories. Like Aaron really likes to get involved and go deep in his, like going out to Battery Russell, for example. And he had actually wrote that song like a year before Falcon Heart was Twinkle in Our Eye. And that was the first song that he fully demoed out and presented to us. And at that point in time, we had no idea he was the drummer for Marco Luna. And so having that full production was really incredible.
Now that you've been sharing the record, you've had a ton of really cool live shows in the Portland and regional area. Can you share some of your highlights of being on tour with the record?
Definitely Mississippi Studios. That's always been a place I wanted to play. And when we got to play there and do this, it was like, I think all of our first times playing there. That was huge.
Yeah, and Doug Fir was a huge milestone for me. That was when we officially released the album.
When we started making our goal sheet kind of for the year, about this time last year, Aaron and I were, we had the Doug Fir and Mississippi Studios on there at the top of the list as, maybe we'll get there if we're lucky. And we were lucky enough to be able to do both of them nearly back to back. And we've just been so blessed to have such a rad summer and being able to nail all of that. And so, I would just say both of them for me.
You have such a great chemistry on stage. It looks like you're all really enjoying what you're doing. And even though you've had Gene for a while and Jody's a more recent addition, you all just did a little leg up to Seattle. Did it kind of feel like a real family since you were on the road together?
It always does. I think we're definite friends, and traveling comes easy.
Yeah. Although once you get into the motel at the end of the night, then the true colors are shown there. Yeah. And yes, waking up the next morning, that's another point of realization that if you could see yourself doing this with these people or not. And the answer is yes.
So Europe is waiting for you all. That might be interesting.
Yeah.
So I want you to speak a little bit to the Portland music scene. When I first was introduced to both of you, it was actually at other people's shows in town. So I knew you as music fans first. And to me, that just speaks volumes about the music scene. I know you guys love the Portland music scene. So what's your favorite thing about the PDX scene that's going on? And who are some of your favorite bands or peers that you've been playing with?
I would have to say right off the bat for myself that the whole MOGO movement has been huge for us in what we're doing with music and kind of being like business savvy about stuff like this. And just that gathering of knowledge and networking is I only dreamed that something could exist like that. And now that we've found that's been a huge help to us, most definitely. And in meeting new bands and people who we've maybe aware of or have seen at shows, haven't had an opportunity to talk to. So
yeah, it's been great, and I especially like Hammerhead lately. I think they have a really cool live show with the members they have. Just two people fill out a huge amount of sound with doing the foot percussion and stuff.
Yeah, really good live show.
Yeah, I think just like people are making the Portland scene happen, like Dan Cable with giving people an outlet, and like this one for bands to be seen.
I have been really impressed with the June Bugs. So I think this year when we got to play with them, that's the first time I ever heard them. And just for three guys, like they just have such a good sound, and their harmonies are just incredible. And then I have another friend who's in a band called Nasal Rod, and they just had their vinyl release at Mississippi Studios.
Nasal Rod.
Yeah, and they're like kind of prog rock, like just put on a really good show. Just first time like I never heard of them, and I went and saw them play. It just blew me away.
It's the nice thing about the Portland music scene is you never know what you're going to get. If you're not familiar with the band, you got to be kind of open to whatever you're going to find out there.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've been talking about it all night. You guys have really been enjoying 2017. It's been great to you. Killer record release, ton of great shows. But looking forward, what does 2018 have in store for Falcon Heart?
I think we'll be doing a lot of traveling. We're planning a regional Northwest part of California, probably just down the West Coast. And then aside from that, we're going to be starting to do pre-production on a new album.
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
You got a bucket full of material right now, I take it?
Yeah, I've got probably 12 songs cooking.
So yeah, another record. That's done. Yeah. That's really cool. And tell your fans where they can find you online.
You could find us at www.falconheartmusic.com. And of course, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we are also on Spotify and iTunes and all of your favorite streaming services.
And I will say, their social media accounts will not let you down. They're some of my favorite that I follow. So really want to thank you all for being on this episode of PDX Spotlight.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Luke.
Ladies and gentlemen, Falcon Heart.
Woo woo.
Here I am, another drunk summer night, sitting alone, thinking of you. When we first met, the stars, they were so bright, and I do believe that the moon was blue. another wet autumn day, pretending like there was never a time when I held you close as we were caught in the sway. The pushing and pulling of the tide. Well, I always knew we could end up like this inside. Oh, we tried, but I couldn't realize that you had to go and spread your wings. So I say goodnight. I won't fight. The moon will light my way home. The moon will light my way home. Light my way home. The moon will light my way home. Light my way home. The moon will light my way. Thank you so much, everyone.